Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name of the one true God, and Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. And I want to send salutations to all the Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, exalting the name of Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, in truth and in sincerity. All right, this lesson is going to be about basically loving your neighbor. And what does it mean to love your neighbor? All right, because people have it misconstrued that, when they read the Bible, they think that anybody is your neighbor. But really, according to the scriptures, it's not. This book was a direct message to the Israelites. And the message that the Lord is giving right here is to his own people who are Israelites. Because who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, whose name is Yahweh Shai, he was from the tribe of Judah. So one tribe right there is from one of the 12 tribes of Israel. You have 11 more tribes. So he was talking to his brethren, all right, when he said love your neighbor, all right? Hell, if you're going to tell me that Yahweh Shai gave a commandment to love your neighbor, but then God himself says that he hates Esau, how is there a contradiction there? So we're supposed to love Esau, but God's supposed to hate him. We're supposed to be like-minded with God. So are we to hate Esau too? Of course. Because the scriptures tell you, be ye perfect as I am perfect, Be perfect like your Father in heaven. So we're going to be like the Lord. So the Lord says he hates Esau, but he loves Jacob. We love our people. We love Jacob, but we hate Esau. So your neighbor, so that even right there just cuts the whole love everybody, love your neighbor, saying as yourself type of doctrine that they have right now going around in Christianity. Because not just because somebody's standing next to you on the train does not make them your neighbor. Your neighbor is your people, who your nation is, all right? Preferably the 12 tribes of Israel, because this message is to them, all right? This is Mark 12 and 31. And the second is like, namely, this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. There is none other commandment greater than these. So it's basically love your brother, love your people. All right. It's saying love your neighbor. All right. Love your brother, love your people. That's talking about your people. All right. He's talking to Israelites right here. All right. Now let's go to the law. The law will explain it. Leviticus 19 and 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. All right. So that's how you show love, to not hate. So you don't hate your brother, So basically the Lord is just, revisiting the law when he said that, to love your neighbor, to not hate your neighbor, but you want to love your neighbor. All right. You don't want to trespass against your neighbor. All right. Verse 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh. So there you go. So you love your neighbor. You don't hold any grudges. You don't avenge. Take revenge against your people. All right. This is a law to the Israelites. Moses gave the law to who? The Israelites. All right. Even though the law has always been around, but the tablets. All right. So, the law of Moses, which is really the law of Yahweh, because it's ultimately his law. All right. So that's who your neighbor is. Okay. And that's who Yahweh Shai was referring to in the book of Mark. All right. This is Matthew 12 and I'll start at 49. Matthew 12 and 49. And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, is the same as my brother and sister and mother. Okay, so there you have it. You got to do the will of the Father, because not all Israel is not of Israel. Okay, so you got to do the will of the Father, all right, to truly be considered a brother or a friend. Otherwise, you're just a heathen, a Republican, and a foreigner in the sight of the Lord if you don't do that as an Israelite. Okay, so how is it that the Lord is for everybody and everybody can come in, but the Lord says that he consider you a Gentile, or he'll consider you a publican, all right, if you do these things, all right, if you do this wickedness, all right. So spiritually, you're not going to be a brother. Spiritually, now, literally, through blood, the bloodline, you are a brother, you are a sister, but spiritually, you're considered a heathen. Spiritually, you're considered a Gentile because you're trying to be like the Gentiles. So the Lord is going to cut you off for acting like the other nations. All right? So the Lord doesn't really consider you a brother as an Israelite if you go off and be like the other heathens. All right? So that's talking about spiritual. But physically, loving your neighbor is the law. And it's loving your people, all right, who are Israelites. So with that, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai.